Hello everyone, my name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Seder. Today we are talking about Glory O'Brien's History of the Future by A.S. King. And normally in these videos I put in spoilers, but with this book there really is no such thing as spoilers. And I know that doesn't make sense, but since the book is really just about how Glory feels about it all, there's really no way to talk about everything. So I say that if this sounds interesting, if this book piques your interest, go ahead, give it a read because it really is very interesting. So keeping that in mind, let's dive right in. Glory's mother committed suicide when Glory was very young by sticking her head inside the oven and turning it on. And this act, in a way, defines who Glory is. Growing up without a mother leaves her very bitter and just mad at the world. And because of this, she can't really see a future for herself. And she just sees the world through her camera and has this kind of above-it-all type of attitude. She grows up across the street from a freeloading hippie commune, which is where her best friend Elly lives. Elly is very self-absorbed, and Glory will often stop and contemplate why they're even friends, but most likely because she has no other friends, she does continue to hang out with her. One night, she and Elly find a petrified bat and decide to keep it. When it turns to dust, Elly proposes that they drink it. So, naturally, they mix it with some beer and literally become one with the bat. This act leaves them with the ability to see everyone and everything's infinite past and infinite future, but not each other's. And they kind of will see different things. Like Elly will see life and Glory sees death. And I think this has to do with their thoughts on the bat. Elly thought that the bat was God and represented life, while Glory thought it was Max Black, which is photography speak for the maximum black in a picture. And she kind of sees this as representing death. So I think this is why Glory kind of sees a lot of suffering, while Elly will see like people being born and people in love. With Glory's graduation right around the corner, it's kind of fitting that she can now see everyone else's future, considering that she can't even envision one for herself. And what she sees does not sit well with her. Glory discovers that the world is on the brink of a second American Civil War, which will start because someone will find a way to basically make it illegal for women to work. Now, Glory decides that she wants to find out everything she possibly can about this and write it all down. And it's not really that she thinks she can change it, she just wants to know so that she can be prepared. Also, during this week before graduation, Glory decides that she finally wants to start using her mother's darkroom where she used to develop pictures. Upon going down there, she learns more about her mother than she could ever learn from anyone else by looking through her mother's pictures and reading what her mother has written. And this kind of helps Glory begin to see a future for herself. And she starts to kind of become, I don't know what the right word for it is, but she kind of accepts that everything is changing and it's okay. And she finally realizes that she's not doomed to be like her mother in that she committed suicide, but that she is her own person. And there's one thing in particular that Glory's mom wrote that I think really is what hits Glory and what makes her finally see that she has her own life. And that is that you are no one special. I am no one special. Most people can't handle that. Can you? And I think just knowing this just really helps Glory see that it's her life and that everyone does great things and everyone does terrible things, and that doesn't make you special, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to do something. And this is kind of the point in the book where it kind of turns around for Glory, and she starts to see more about this future that she's seeing in other people, and she finally starts to see how she fits into it. So switching gears a little bit, I'm going to tell you what I truly thought of this book. Now, I gave it a solid 3 stars, and that was mainly because it didn't really have a story, and I mean, nothing really happens, but it was still good. Like, it was very thought-provoking. It was a little depressing. I mean, I listened to this book to and from going to class, and sometimes I would just get out of the car and I would just feel like I hate the world because it just really affected my mood. But it was just so thought-provoking, and, you know, it's at this pivotal point in her life where part of, like, one chapter's ending and another chapter's beginning, and I just remember when I graduated high school, I kind of had the same thoughts, not necessarily so dark, but you know what I mean, and I still have them now. Like, you don't really know what's ahead of you, because up until high school, or up until graduation anyway, you kind of know what is happening and like where you're going, but once you go to college, the door kind of opens and there's just all these possibilities, and it can be scary. So I did really like the messages, but it was a little dark and there really just wasn't a story. So, tell me, dear listener, did you read this book? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Go ahead and let me know. I am still reading Lost in Babylon. I know, it's been taking me forever. I just haven't had a lot of time to sit down and actually read, but hopefully I will be finishing that sometime this coming week. The next book to be reviewed, however, will probably be House of Dark Shadows. I just started that. I'm listening to it in the car. It is a haunted house mystery thriller type book, so I am very interested to see how I like it. And just a quick update, I am going to try and post on YouTube every Friday, so that's when all the spoiler reviews will be up. And even if there isn't a review, there should be something else. I'm not quite sure what those will be yet. If you have any ideas, you can go ahead and let me know. But that is going to hopefully be my new schedule. So I'll see you guys on Friday.